Kia ora. So I wanted to just share a bit of background about the creative and art tools that I've been working on and explain why I think that art is or can be a really practical tool for design and innovation, or wherever you might be wanting to really gently build bridges between one set of ideas and another set of ideas. If you think about the old and the new as two bodies of ideas that need to maybe meet each other and be able to see and hear each other and have a conversation, and I think that art can be something that can be used in that space between those two things because it's tangible and it can be experienced, but it's not a decision. Art also, it gives us a lot of freedom because it's so layered, and a piece doesn't have to be read in just one way. So I can talk about a piece that I've made or that someone else has made in different ways to suit the context and the relationships that I'm wanting to build in that moment. If you think about design as being much more concrete in that a design is, here's something that we could build, whereas an art piece is more like, here's something that's worth talking about before we decide what happens next. And I think that art can really have a place because it brings us back to our bodies and our physical experience. If you think about art that you can touch, not just look at, or music that like literally moves you, or that feeling of just shock or intensity that you might get with an experience or a piece. And it all reminds us that we're not just a thinking machine on legs. If you think about what drives people on that human level, right? So isn't it about real stuff and the real world? So even if you think about during a process, a decision-making process, and maybe it feels like it's all about budgets and spreadsheets and these really abstract things. But I think that, underneath all of that is just a bunch of people who are thinking about making sure that they have access to physical resources, food and shelter and safety and things like that. So it's really, it's still about what we're going to experience in the real world. And if you think about that decision-making process, and that a decision, say, references a feeling, and so if we create an art piece that is designed as part of that bridge between the old ideas and the new ideas, then we can offer a feeling to be referenced, and really design that pathway really gently and really carefully and with a lot of clarity, because everyone can see it and everyone can talk about that art piece. So I've been making like a art making system, and I've made some art pieces as examples, although I'm happy to make work for you. But it's also designed so that to be really simple, so that anyone could do similar things. It's quite grounding and quite mindfulnessy, right? Like the materials are it's wet paint and gritty paint, so you notice what you're using, and very simple, so you can slow right down and notice what the paint is doing, not be able to control it, which is great, and notice what you're feeling about what you're making. And there's also enough there to be able to convey a range of feelings and ideas and experiences using just colours and textures and words and fonts. So really simple elements that are hopefully easy and accessible to put together. I'm really happy to meet up for a coffee if this interests you and you've got questions. Maybe you might be working on a change or transformation project which is feeling a bit stuck, or you might be needing to hold a bunch of different or conflicting things in the air at the same time, which can be quite challenging, or maybe you need to open the conversation on some meaty research and you're looking for creative ways to approach that. And the other thing is, if anyone is curious about the idea of maybe trying out having an art space in your organisation that is nice and restorative and meditative that people can access and spend time in. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope this was useful and thought-provoking, and happy creating, everyone.